And it's better when they're more transparent about what they're thinking besides just asking questions. Like if they're leaning towards another person, or they're leaning towards a certain kit, or they're leaning towards a certain enrollment date. Hey, it's Lance McGowan here, and I wanted to share an email with you of somebody who wanted to become a wellness advocate in Colombia, and a number of emails that they had sent back and forth with me. So, there's some learnings to pull from all this, and just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so let's get right into it. Okay. Here we go. All right, so here's the conversation that I had with the guy over the course of a couple weeks who emailed me. So he started his first email off with, "Can I be an advocate if I don't have a SSN, or social security number?" And I responded back in email, "Do you have a government issued ID number? And were you looking to get started with a wholesale account today?" And so that's an important question, right? When do you want to get started? And another follow-up question is, what do you want to get started with? Specifically, what kit? And it seems like he was already in the mood to purchase something. And so, ideally I'd like to, sample, do a phone consultation for 15-20 minutes, and then a class, and then he enrolls. Because doTERRA does ship to Colombia, they have an office there as well. So I'm like, yeah, this would be a great opportunity, and he's asking some really good questions. He responded back, "Yes, I would like to know if I can make a few $100s, but I just don't have a SSN or social security number, only my foreign ID number from Colombia." And then I responded back with, "Sounds good. doTERRA ships to Colombia, and I have videos and training that I do with people on my team after enrolling with me, so you can learn more about the business side and making money as a builder." And so I'm just letting him know that if you're thinking about becoming a wellness advocate, kind of thanks for reaching out. It's always kind of like a double-edged sword, because it's like, I want to help people, but am I helping people to enroll with other people, locally where he's at, or am I helping people to enroll with me because I'm putting in the time and the effort to give them information? And so that's kind of going on in the back of my mind, but I'm just being transparent because, I want to help people. Again, I want to help people, but at the same time, there has to be some type of moving towards me at the end of the day. But anyways, I followed up with saying, "Would you be open to scheduling a 20-minute call via Skype or WhatsApp to see if I can help?" This doesn't guarantee that I can help. This just is gauging his cooperativeness to see if he's open enough to doing this. And really, this is the first step to, building that relationship, doing a class, and then enrolling with a specific kit and helping him. He doesn't have to have a social security number, as long as he just has, it could be a business ID number or a foreign ID number, something. We can work with that, so there's ways you can get started. We can work through that. It's just getting on the phone, talking to kind of work that out. He said, "Okay, my friend, one last question, ... Can I sell in the USA from Colombia?" So this was a very interesting response that I got in the email, because not only did he not answer my question about wanting to do a 20-minute call, but he's just wanting to extract information from me. And so I understand there's sometimes language barriers and things like that, but if he has enough, knowledge on the English language to ask questions, then I think there should be some level of hey, let's answer my question, right? Are you open to do that? So that was kind of the first red flag that I had saw in this conversation, is that he didn't answer my previous question. Part of having a reasonable discussion is, there's a back and forth. And this was back and forth, you may say, but it wasn't where we're answering each other's question, I think. And, well, I was answering his, but he wasn't answering mine. So, minor details, but they're important in the kind of grand scheme of things. And it's important to kind of recognize those nuances to kind of see if something is a good opportunity or a good fit for both sides, right? Not just one. And then here's what I responded back with in an email. I said, "Was that a C or no? Question mark." So I'm basically saying, all right, I asked you a question, then you asked a separate question and didn't answer my question, so I'm going to ask a question to see if you can answer my previous question. You may be like, "Dang, that's kind of complicated," you know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, no, we're trying to have a conversation. Let's make sure it's a win-win. That's my intent. Win-win. Let's go. All right. Plus, again, I'm also gauging to see if he, is following, the process that's really set out by doTERRA. They have a process. You give people a sample after you, introduce yourself, and then after that you invite them to a class, and then you enroll them with a kit. That's pretty much how it works. And doing a little phone call is kind of in between, on the front end of sampling and inviting to a class. So that's kind of how it's all working out, and it works out when people are cooperative and they communicate well, and they are ready to make a purchasing decision. They just kind of need to hone in on the person and the product, because they already got the company in their mind, but they just need to hone in on the person and the product. So anyways, he followed up with an email. Hey there, my friend, I have a question. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm aware of your questions. Are you aware of your answers to my question? He says, since I am based in Colombia, which I'm already aware of, I was wondering if I can make my sales in the United States. United States is what he meant. Or since I am in Colombia, I should only do sales in Colombia. So he's wanting to ask some questions that really should be done in a phone call. Maybe he doesn't speak English, maybe what you're thinking, so maybe WhatsApp or Skype may not be there. But hey, it's a start, right? I can learn that, hey, maybe we just do conversations via text or something. That's fine. But that call is really establishing the communication and the cooperation on both parties to meet in the middle and get questions answered and get some next steps established, namely a class scheduled. Okay? But I can see, you know, this is kind of the second red flag, because he not only didn't answer my question from both my emails, but he also re-asked his question. So I'm already just kind of like, I'm kind of done with this, just to be real. But I continued. I responded back with this. This is kind of like, you know, the Hail Mary pass of like, I'm trying to help you, but if you don't want to meet me halfway, then we have to go separate ways. But I said that nicely. So I said, I'd be more than happy to help. Due to the number of emails I get about how to do the business, the best options for you are: 1, you can visit my website below to make a purchase of a kit that best meets your needs so I can provide you support and answer all of your questions. Or 2, you can fill out option 4 after clicking my website below, and we can schedule a free call to see what the best solution would be and if I can help. He can click on that. It's actually a bit.ly link, so I can see if they've clicked on it and where they've clicked on it from. And here's what he responded back with. Nothing but cricket sounds. There was no response back. Hashtag ghosted. All right, so that was the last I had heard from him. He didn't answer my questions. I didn't answer his, because I was trying to establish and gauge a little bit for his level of communication and cooperativeness. Because again, as much as doing the business is about getting customers, I also want to pre-qualify them. And that's really, at the end of the day, what I was trying to do. I was trying to see if he's somebody that would be a good customer. And somebody who doesn't cooperate is not a good customer. Because if you have a need and you have some goals and you find a person, product, and company that you're leaning towards, it's so important to be transparent about that and work towards, you know, sampling, hopping on a call, regardless of what language you speak. We'll work something out. I'll go on Google Translate and we just start texting. I mean, I'll show my phone to you like this or something. We'll find a solution. We'll get creative, right? And then finally, scheduling a class to go over the benefits, the uses, and how to enroll with a kit for your area, and then talk about the business side. Now he's more like, well, let's get the business side talked about, and I'm like, well, let's get the call first. Because what I've learned in my past is people are gonna do whatever they want to do. They could be enrolled with somebody else, it could be enrolled with me, and it's so important for me to pre-qualify them for that. And it's better when they're more transparent about what they're thinking besides just asking questions. Like if they're leaning towards another person, or they're leaning towards a certain kit, or they're leaning towards a certain enrollment date, it's so important to just communicate that. Like, hey, I'm thinking about you and my cousin, or hey, I'm thinking about you and my friend and enrolling with you guys with this type of kit, maybe in the next month or so. Like, can you help me understand like what's the process, or maybe understand like what makes you different or better. I mean, if they watch my videos, they may not ask that last question, but just being transparent, I think that's the key. That's what I try to be when I'm a customer, whether it's for real estate or cars or cell phones or anything where there's a sales orientation role. Like, I'm just trying to be the most reasonable, transparent customer there is. That's my goal, because I know what it's like to be on the receiving end, and that means just being blunt but respectful, right? If I'm not in the market for something, or if I don't have a need, or if I don't like something, or if I don't agree with something, I just communicate that respectfully. Like, hey, I'm not a big fan of that, but what about the other products that you have? Or what are the options? Or is that your best price? Or I'm asking just reasonable questions and seeing if they work with me. And because it's all about earning the business, not just getting the business, earning business. So what are the lessons learned? The lesson learned is the some will, some won't, so what, someone's waiting. This was the some won't, but maybe he became the some will for somebody else in doTERRA or another network marketing organization. I don't know, because there was crickets when I sent that last email, which is pretty much like the call to action email. It's like, what you gonna do? Okay, all right. And then, yeah, moving towards people that move towards you, and when they don't, I talk to the next person. So, you know, whereas some people, you know, some other videos you may watch on YouTube, they're like, I quit doTERRA and the business was too hard or whatever, it felt like I was badgering people. It's like, first of all, people are not always going to buy from you. They may buy from somebody else. They may choose a competitor, a different company. There's so many scenarios. There's people that buy from you and then leave, and then people that stay with you for life. There's people that stay with you for a few years, and I mean, there's so many different scenarios. I just know that I'm just here to help people regardless of whatever they do, and I know that abundance mentality, over 325 million people in the US, over 7 billion people in the world, somebody out there is waiting for whatever I have to offer. It's just, how can I communicate and reach them in such a way where we can build that relationship and I can offer that value in the solutions that I have. That's what it just comes down to. It's just a matter of finding them and them connecting enough with me as well. A lot of different things. And so this guy from Colombia, regardless of what he does, I'm on to the next one, right? And I do know that there is, again, somebody out there waiting for what I have to offer, and that's what I work towards. I don't dwell or, you know, follow up like crazy on these, because I've already done a lot of follow-ups, right? So it's really, the ball is in his court. So I left the response. He didn't want to answer any of my questions, so turning into, basically, Tim Ferriss talks a lot about that. If somebody is high maintenance but low or no profit, they're really not a good customer, and they need to be out of your organization. So you basically just send an email to respectfully let them know what your policies are, and it's just keeping that in mind, right? You just, if they're high maintenance and low or no profit, they're not a good customer for you or probably anybody else. If somebody is high profit and low maintenance, that's really good, because they understand the value, they're paying for the value, and they're not super needy. They're more independent and empowered to make their own choices with your business and how they interact with the services or the products. And that's ideal. And that's the person I try to be. Like, when I'm to other people, like, I try to be, you know, profitable for them, right? Because they're getting my business, because they've earned it. And then at the same time, I try to be low maintenance, right? I ask questions, but at the same time, I don't jump on their back and try to extract more than I'm willing to give, i.e. money, okay? Because I understand that they got a business too, and I can't just always take. That's not right. Like, there has to be a value exchange. My money as a customer for their product or service, because I know, like, and trust them enough. Whether it's them, their products, or the company, usually a combination of all three of those. So, anyways, that concludes today's video. Hopefully you've gained some more perspective today, or at least another way to look at stuff, and maybe you can improve upon how I responded as well if you see a better way. Make sure to hit the like button if you did, hit subscribe for future video updates, and most importantly, check out those links in the description below so you can continue to get your learn on. And I'll see you in the next video.